Some of the most famous cars in movie history didn't end up in museums. They vanished. One of them, a lime green 1969 Dodge Charger, is sitting in a private backyard in California right now. It still has the original paint, the racing stripe, and the same mag wheels it had when it appeared in one of the most violent chase sequences ever filmed. The owner knows exactly what it is. Collectors have tried to buy it. Journalists have tried to photograph it. His answer has always been the same: not for sale. But that car is only one part of a much stranger story, because another legendary movie car, a green Mustang fastback driven by one of Hollywood's biggest stars, spent more than 40 years hidden in garages across 4 different states after its clutch failed. The actor who drove it in the film tried repeatedly to buy it back. The owner refused every time. And then there are the cars that didn't disappear into garages or backyards at all. 5 brand-new Alpine white Dodge Challengers were loaned to a film production for $1 a day. When the movie was finished, the company that built them watched the film. They didn't like what they saw, so the company ordered all 5 cars destroyed. 3 films, 3 sets of cars, all connected to some of the most famous chase scenes ever put on screen. And between them is a strange piece of film history, a story about what Hollywood does to the machines it uses and what sometimes happens when a car becomes more famous than the people who drove it. In 1968, Warner Bros. Purchased 2 new Highland Green 1968 Ford Mustang GT fastbacks for the film Bullitt. The production starred Steve McQueen, who at the time was one of the most prominent actors in Hollywood and an experienced driver. Each Mustang cost approximately $2,600. Their VIN numbers were sequential, 8R02S125558 and 8R02S125559. Both cars were modified by stunt specialist Max Balchowski. The modifications included a heavy-duty clutch, reinforced shock mounts, upgraded coil springs, and additional frame reinforcement. Exterior badges and Ford logos were removed, and grade torque thrust wheels were installed. The cars appeared outwardly ordinary, but the mechanical changes prepared them for the demands of filming. The purpose of those modifications was a 9-minute and 42-second chase sequence filmed on the streets of San Francisco. The sequence involved speeds approaching 110 miles per hour on public roads. Steve McQueen handled portions of the driving himself. More dangerous stunts were performed by Bud Eakins, Lauren Janes, and Bill Hickman. Car 558 served as the primary stunt vehicle. It handled the jumps, the hard landings, and the repeated impacts required for the sequence. By the end of production, it had sustained extensive damage. Balchowski arranged for the car to be taken to a scrapyard and crushed. Car 559 functioned as the hero car, used in close-up and non-stunt scenes. After filming, it was repaired and repainted at Precision Auto Body in Hollywood for $920. Warner Bros. Sold the car to an employee named Robert Ross, who drove it in California until 1970. Ross later sold the Mustang to Frank Moranca, a detective in New Jersey who had it shipped east by rail. Moranca drove the car occasionally for several years before placing a classified advertisement in the October 1974 issue of Road and Track. The advertisement read, "1968 Bullitt Mustang driven by McQueen in the movie. Best offer." One person responded. Robert Kiernan, a 26-year-old from Madison, New Jersey, purchased the car for roughly $6,000. At the time, that price was significantly higher than the typical value of a used 1968 Mustang fastback. Kiernan bought it because he wanted a Mustang, not because it had appeared in a film. The car became the family's primary vehicle. His wife drove it to the Catholic school where she taught. The exhaust could be heard from several blocks away. In 1977, Steve McQueen contacted Kiernan by letter and asked to buy the car back in its unrestored condition. Kiernan declined. McQueen made additional attempts over the following years, but the answer remained the same. In 1980, the clutch failed. The Mustang was moved into the garage and left there. Over time, the family relocated from New Jersey to Ohio, then to Kentucky, and eventually to Nashville, Tennessee. Each time, the Mustang was transported with them on a trailer. In 1990, Mustang Illustrated reported that the car still existed somewhere on the East Coast, although the owner remained unidentified. After that, public references largely disappeared. Robert Kiernan died in 2014. His son Sean had quietly maintained the car's history. In 2015, he mentioned it to his employer, Casey Wallace, who immediately recognized the significance of the vehicle. Wallace connected Sean with filmmaker Ken Horstman, who had been researching a project about the missing Bullitt Mustang. Sean contacted Ford. Ford then contacted Hagerty. The car was documented for the National Historic Vehicle Register and recorded by the Library of Congress. Its estimated value exceeded $4 million. The vehicle remained unrestored, retaining its original paint and showing visible wear and rust. On January 14, 2018, the Mustang appeared publicly at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit. 50 years after the film's release, the car still carried its original paint and approximately 65,000 miles on the odometer. Meanwhile, the stunt car thought to have been destroyed resurfaced decades later. In 2017, a man named Hugo Sanchez brought a worn Mustang to a custom shop in Baja California owned by Ralph Garcia. Sanchez checked the VIN and noticed it was sequential to the surviving Bullitt car. Mustang historian Kevin Marty was brought in to examine it. Marty located VIN stampings in the engine compartment and door plate, along with structural modifications consistent with Balchowski's work. A hole in the rear left inner fender matched the location of a generator exhaust pipe used for lighting equipment during filming. Sanding a small patch of paint revealed Highland green beneath the surface. The car was identified as the original stunt vehicle, VIN 558. How it left the scrapyard and reached Mexico remains unknown. In 1973, director John Ho began filming Dirty Mary Crazy Larry in San Joaquin County, California. The film starred Peter Fonda and Susan George and relied heavily on practical driving sequences filmed at real speeds on public roads. The primary vehicle was a 1969 Dodge Charger RT painted in citron yellow, a bright greenish-yellow color originally introduced by Chrysler in 1971. The production crew applied the paint themselves because the color was not available on the 1969 model. A black racing stripe and American Racing Sprint wheels completed the car's distinctive appearance. 3 Chargers were used during production. The hero car was a genuine RT equipped with a 440 cubic inch Magnum V8 and TorqueFlite automatic transmission. 2 additional Chargers, a 1969 non-RT and a 1968 non-RT, served as stunt doubles. Kerry Lofton performed much of the stunt driving. 6 1972 Dodge Polara police cars obtained from the California Highway Patrol were also used in filming. All 6 were destroyed during production through crashes, jumps, and staged collisions. The final scene required a Charger to collide with a freight train. For this sequence, the crew used an engineless vehicle rigged with explosives and pulled toward the locomotive using a cable system beneath the tracks. The car detonated on impact. After filming ended, 2 Chargers remained. The Hero RT was purchased from the studio by a crew member associated with the television series The Streets of San Francisco. He used it as a personal vehicle until it was later destroyed in an accident after being loaned to another driver. The remaining stunt Charger, a 1969 non-RT, was purchased by a resident of Sun Valley, California. The car has remained in private ownership for decades. It still carries the citron yellow and black stripe used in the film, along with the mag wheels installed during production. The left front fender was primered after filming and never repainted. The owner has confirmed the car's identity and has declined to sell it. No recent public documentation of the car has been released. For many years, viewers debated the color of the Charger. Some believed it was yellow, while others described it as green. The confusion originated in the film's early distribution. Color timing adjustments applied to theatrical prints shifted the citron yellow toward a more conventional yellow tone. Television broadcasts and VHS releases reproduced that altered color. A 2005 DVD transfer created from the original camera negative restored the correct color balance. The greenish-yellow tint of the Charger was accurately reproduced for the first time in decades. During production of the film Vanishing Point, 5 1970 Dodge Challenger RTs were supplied to the studio by Chrysler under a promotional agreement that allowed vehicles to be rented for $1 per day. 4 of the Challengers were equipped with 440 cubic-inch V8 engines and 4-speed manual transmissions. A 5th car used a 383 engine and automatic transmission and served primarily as a camera vehicle. Aside from heavy-duty shock absorbers installed on the jump car, the vehicles remained largely stock. The film followed a driver named Kowalski racing from Denver to San Francisco while pursued by police across Nevada and California. The final sequence depicted the Challenger accelerating into a roadblock formed by 2 bulldozers. The vehicle explodes on impact. The car used for the explosion was not a Challenger, but a modified 1967 Chevrolet Camaro fitted with explosives and pulled toward the bulldozers with a cable. After filming concluded, the 5 Challengers were returned to Chrysler. Executives screened the finished film and determined that the portrayal of their vehicle, driven at high speed across multiple states while the driver evaded police, did not align with the company's intended image. The decision was made to destroy the vehicles. According to statements later confirmed by director Richard Serafon, stunt driver Kerry Lofton, and actor Barry Newman, the cars were sent to a salvage facility and crushed. No verified example of a surviving Vanishing Point Challenger has ever been documented. Collectors have attempted to trace the VIN numbers, but the cars had been loaned rather than sold, leaving little title documentation. Chrysler's production records from that period are incomplete, and the specific salvage yard involved has not been confirmed. The absence of verified survivors means that every Challenger replica associated with the film is based on a vehicle that no longer exists. The 3 films were released within a 6-year period when American muscle car culture and American cinema were closely connected. The Bullitt Mustang survived because one family preserved it for decades. The stunt car resurfaced years later in Mexico through an unexpected VIN identification. The surviving Charger from Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry remains in private ownership in Sun Valley, California. The 5 Challengers used in Vanishing Point were destroyed by the manufacturer after filming ended. The films remain widely viewed. The vehicles that made their most recognizable scenes are far more difficult to trace. Additional research on these cases includes production documentation, authentication records, and available VIN ranges connected with the vehicles used in Vanishing Point. Members supporting the channel receive access to those extended investigations and can also participate in selecting future topics for detailed research and documentary videos.